Today I am sharing some no scrap card ideas with simple supplies like cardstock, celebrating the scrapbook.com new cardstock release. So scrapbook.com reached out to me and asked me if I would like to work with the cardstock, share some projects with you. So I did receive this cardstock bundle for sharing this video and these projects with you, specifically the projects. But I did want to show you some no scrap ideas with the cardstock because I thought that would be really valuable to you, but I am also a scrapbook.com affiliate and just want to be really clear about that relationship. Okay, so let's take a look at the different cardstocks they're releasing. My understanding is there'll be like a bundle deal on the day of release, which is when this video should go live, but all of the extra details will be in the video description so I can make sure they're accurate. And also, things change over time, so check scrapbook.com for product availability, terms and conditions, etc. Okay, we have the scrapbook.com premium glimmer cardstock, and this has shine to it, but it's not a glitter cardstock, it's a glimmer cardstock. So there's a shine to it and a bit of a canvas texture. I did not notice any kind of shedding, which I wouldn't expect because again, it's not a glitter cardstock, but just to clarify on that, it has that shine and a sort of canvas texture. And speaking of canvas texture, there is the premium canvas cardstock, which is available in even more colors and has a similar, I'm trying to think if there's like the best color to show you some of that canvas texture that it has on it. But this I think is really nice for backgrounds because it adds just a little bit of interest, although there's a couple options for that because the glimmer cardstock is pretty similar in that way. But they all, in my experience, the ones I've cut really nicely with my die cutting machine. So, and on the back, those are both smooth and solid. There's only one side that has the texture and glimmer. Then there is the premium Swiss dots cardstock, which I think again is great for, it's kind of almost like having a patterned paper, but it's super, super subtle. But there is that like tone on tone, there is the dot pattern. It actually has like an embossed feel to it. So there's some texture to those dots. And again, I think it would be great for backgrounds because you wouldn't even have to emboss them yourself. And this has the most limited color range, but they all have a really beautiful range of colors that I enjoyed working with. And then there is the premium classic cardstock, which is an 80-pound cardstock. And I am working with A2 size today, so all of these are A2 packs. And this is great for just general die cutting. I like to cut out of the 80-pound because it die cuts really easily. Thicker cardstock, like the heavyweight, is also gonna die cut well, but you don't always need the extra. And so anyway, I had a great experience die cutting with this, and I'm gonna show you some different die cut elements. This is just a really nice smooth cardstock. And then this is the heavyweight cardstock. So it is 100-pound, definitely a little bit thicker. It could be for something where you really kind of need that weight or heft to it, or you want it to have a stronger presence on the card. It definitely has that thicker feel, and also comes in a beautiful range of colors. So let's get looking at these cards that I'm going to create today. They are all, the backgrounds of them I'm going to create in a no scrap way using up entire sheets of the A2 cardstock, and I'll show you how I am able to do that. And then for the die cut or stamped embellishments, they would create scraps. So you might want to use scraps that you already have, or you might want to like add pre-cut embellishments or something to them instead if you wanted to keep it purely no scrap. But today I'm focusing on these no scrap backgrounds. One of the easiest ways to make no scrap cards with this A2 sized cardstock is to use A2 card dies, because when you cut them out, they're going to use up the entire sheet of the cardstock. Scrapbook.com does also offer A2 pattern paper, which could be fun with some of these dies. I chose the large Honeycomb for this particular card, and when I work with it and the cardstock, what I like to do is make sure that I am taping my die to my cardstock with something like mint tape. This Scrapbook.com mint tape comes off really easily without tearing my paper. And so I like to make sure that I line up the die with the cardstock at the edges because we really want to get a, as close to perfect cut as possible so that we can use the full frame and all of the pieces. So here for my cards today, so that's how I would line it up. I would tape it down and I would run this through my die cut machine. I did it with 2 different pieces of paper here. So I picked 2 different yellow colors to create this honeycomb pattern. And my first thought was to use bees with this background. However, I was like, well, that's, really expected. I'm sure that I will in the future. However, what else would be fun with a honeycomb background? And I thought of bears because, at least in books, bears love to get into beehives and collect the honey, get up in the trees, all that. I always kind of wonder if that's actually true, if they do bother bees for their honey, but maybe one of you has a little more knowledge on that and can share with me. But basically, I cut out the yellow, the dark yellow, and I use my Scrapbook.com trays to sort. So like all the dark yellow inside pieces with the light yellow frame put in one tray. And then I started die cutting some accessory pieces. So this little bear is from a different Scrapbook.com die set, but it's kind of an unexpected use of it because it is a winter set. It is the Berry Christmas die set. And so here on the back, you can see all the bears it makes, and they're kind of shown as polar bears. And this little guy even has a scarf on him, but I wanted to make it a brown bear today. And so I left off the scarf and I die cut the background and the nose out of, I think it was a craft, the color was called Craft of the classic cardstock. I did cut the nose die out of the same as the piece as the outline, just to be a little bit more efficient with cardstock, because that's kind of part of my theme today, is like really using your cardstock well. And so then the bear will just cover that up. So then I cut him out of a dark brown. There is a die for the eyes, nose, and I think a little detail on the ears, although I'm not sure if that's a die or that's meant to just be an embossed detail. You can see there's a great embossed detail on the feet and hands as well. And that's why I like to use my Scrapbook.com magic mat, because I do find that it helps me to really get those embossed details in all of the dies, and that is something that's really popular. Scrapbook.com does in their dies a lot and adds great detail without adding like an extra step. And so I drew in the eyes, nose, and added a little bit of pen detail on the ears. However, like I said, there is a little die that you can add for the eyes and nose. And so I will glue that down. I also used 2 different pieces of green cardstock to cut the You're So Sweet die. This is from Hello Sunshine by Scrapbook.com. Something that I did want to point out is that with the Your and the word sweet, they kind of overlap, but they're cut separately. So when you go to glue it down, you will want to glue this down over the Y over the S, or the S over the Y, your choice. Here they're kind of just touching and they should have been overlapping, but it worked out anyway. And then I'll be able to finish it off. I thought this was like sweet like honey, but also incorporating the bear, kind of doing some little unexpected things, getting some good use out of a variety of dies that weren't necessarily like, none of it was in a bee set, but I am using this honeycomb die, getting some use out of a Christmas set, that kind of thing. So that is my first card, and the easiest way to use this cardstock in a no scrap way by using A2 card dies, but we are going to take a look at some other ideas as well. Next up, I was again using that same canvas, which I'm not sure if I mentioned on the first card, but I used the canvas cardstock for the background. And this time I'm using a die that is meant to be like kind of a scene die, meant to be a background die in my opinion, but is not a full background. So it uses up a good amount of space on an A2 card, creates a clear focal point on the card, and I'm doing another inlaid die cutting technique. But this time I wanted to use the cardstock as the background, as the frame, and as the waves. And so I decided that I needed 3 pieces of blue cardstock to do that, because there's a good variety in all of these packs. I was able to do that. I was thinking maybe the Swiss dot didn't have 3 different blues, but I think even that one would have 3 different blue colors that you could pick out to create this. This is more of like I guess an aqua or something, but I was able to pick 3 different of the canvas blues. And then I think this is important to kind of, when you're starting with creating some of these, realizing how many cards does this need to make. When you have something really simple like the honeycomb, there's only 2 kinds of pieces, so it's okay to cut it out of just 2 different kinds of cardstock. But sometimes with more pieces, you might need more the different colors. But you could also have cut it out of 2, and I would have made the frame and the background different and then let the inside match the frame, and I think that would have looked cute too if you didn't want to make 3 complete cards. So as I said, I cut it out of 3 different pieces of cardstock. I used my scrapbook.com mint tape to hold things in place, and then when I go to glue it all down using my scrapbook.com Artiste glue, I'm going to first piece I'm gonna put all my pieces back in their frame to make sure that this is easy to do. Although things that I noticed about this one in the honeycomb is like all 4 of these pieces were basically the same size, so I didn't have to keep track of them. I didn't have to I could just, pick up one of these and glue it in, and so it kept it pretty easy. And this is kind of similar in the sense of like the top and bottom pieces are the same like the same shape, but the centerpiece is unique. And then again, these top and bottom, so I don't have to pay like really close attention to where it came from. It's pretty easy to piece it back together. And so I like to place everything down, make sure that I like the angle of it. You could, shift it all to make it on a bit more of an angle or something like that, and then start going in and gluing my inlaid pieces down as I like. Something though that I try to do for a bit of interest is not apply too much glue here so that I could fit in my whale. This is the scrapbook.com Whale Hello stamp set, and I had the coordinating dies, so I die cut both the sentiment, which I stamped in some Lawn Fawn Deep Sea ink, on. I used 2 different gray cardstocks, and these are the classic cardstock from the release, and I combined the dark gray and light gray on some of the cards, and then this one only has light gray on it, but I just stamped the whale. I didn't even do any coloring to it. You certainly could, but I still think it looks really cute even if you don't want to color it in. And just using a variety of cardstocks, you could use like a textured cardstock. You could maybe make your whale shimmery if you wanted to add some interest to him without necessarily adding color. And then I was able to tuck that into the wave and add the sentiment, and then I have 3 cards from 3 pieces of cardstock. Now, of course, when I die cut out the whales and the sentiment, I was left with some scraps there, but I wanted the focusing on like no scrap background. You could have, of course, used scraps or that kind of thing to stamp these. You could be using, you could be stamping it directly, like you could stamp the whale hello right here on the bottom of the card or something to create less scraps. For my last card, I wanted to go to a die set that wasn't really as focused on making backgrounds, had a lot more details. It did have this frame die in it though, and I could see doing something extremely similar with any set of nesting dies. Scrapbook.com has a lot of great nesting dies, and so I didn't at first realize one of these is actually a frame, so it does cut out this yellow, like this yellow frame piece is from that die. I thought I was just basically layering 2 of the same shape together, and I knew I'd get this space in between a different color. So when I worked on this one, I started with my full sheet of, this is the Glimmer cardstock, so it has some nice shine to it. And I taped these together. And this is an important step because if I'm going to cut it twice, I need the frame to be the same size. And since these dies are not attached to each other, not necessarily like meant to be used in this way, in order for them to be like inlaid back together, I need to make sure that the die doesn't shift in between. So I need to make sure that they're taped down really well. So you see I have my Scrapbook.com mint tape, like, you know, holding the die, and I've been pretty generous with it so that it doesn't shift. And then I wound up with 2 frame pieces as well as the solid center to piece back together. But this die, while great and, you know, nice focal point, I wanted to add a little bit of interest versus, say, this the whale card. So the whale card, I had a lot of that background, and I also had the focal point moved up to the top center of the card. Now I've shifted the focal point to the center of the card so I could do another little detail without adding any scraps. I cut 1/2 inch off the top and bottom of the blue piece once it was die cut and the yellow piece once it was die cut, and then I swapped those as well. So in addition to the inlay die and swapping the die cuts, I swapped those 2 pieces that I just cut with a paper trimmer in order to add a little bit of extra interest to the card and make it look like there were many more layers to the card than there are by just adding, again, just 1 more layer in addition to all these frames. So I'll have to little spots over here, like all the little like die cutting debris. So anyway, I then was ready to add another sentiment and detail, and I decided to use the same die set. So this hello was in the same Treasured Garden die set, and I chose one of the branches. Again, I love that there's that embossed detail on the die. It really adds a lot of interest to this very, very simple die cut. And the reason that I chose the brown and green here was because I'd already cut a sentiment out of this green for the bear card, and I cut the bear out of the brown cardstock. So in the spirit of trying to be really efficient, as you can see, like I've gotten quite a bit of die cutting out of this single piece of A2 cardstock, and I've really tried to fit things together so that I'm maximizing it, and I won't have much left. Now, this is not something that I would probably make a card with, but it is still, to me, like a pretty efficient use. So I would kind of keep those things in mind, especially if you're crafting a bunch in one session. Like, can you pick maybe a neutral color that can be used across a couple of cards, or like green to me goes well with a lot of things. Here's a look at the 7 cards I was able to create using some no scrap background techniques with this beautiful new cardstock from scrapbook.com. If you found this video helpful, here's another video where you can find more ideas for enjoying your crafty time and supplies. Let me know you like this video to share it to your crafty community. Subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss the next template or tutorial, and check the video description for product links. See you in the next video.